As we know that the endocrine glands are also known as the ductless glands, because what is their mode of secretion? What's the difference between the endocrine and the exocrine mode of secretion? The exocrine glands are also known as the ductless glands. Sorry, the glands with the ducts. So the endocrine tissue basically consists of cells which secrete their secretion, which pour their secretion into the surrounding connective tissue. Alright, and the connective tissue which is surrounding this endocrine tissue there consists of lot of capillaries. So it's very vascular. So the secretion that is produced by the group of endocrine tissue or the cells is carried by means of these blood vessels, which are the capillaries or the sinusoids, and then carried over to the target organ. Alright, and the secretion which is produced by the endocrine cells is known as the hormone. Alright, so there are, can you give me examples of some typical endocrine glands? Like the pituitary or the hypophysis cerebri, then we have the thyroid, the parathyroid and the adrenal glands. These are the examples of some typical endocrine glands. Now, the endocrine tissue can also be present in some organs along with the exocrine. Okay, exocrine part of a particular organ. Embedded within the exocrine part of the organ, you can find some amount of endocrine tissue. Can you give me examples of such organ? Pancreas, very good. Islet cells of pancreas, which are the endocrine component, which are embedded within the exocrine tissue of the pancreas. Similarly, it can be seen also in the testis, that is the interstitial cells of laid egg within the testis. So these are the groups of endocrine tissue which can be seen within the exocrine tissue of the organ. And sometimes we also come across endocrine cells, right? Cells which are constituting the epithelial lining. Alright, some cells also act as endocrine cells. Very good. We can see some of the endocrine cells in the lining of the gastrointestinal tract. Alright, which belong to the enteroendocrine group of cells which are lining the gastrointestinal tract. So, coming to the histology of the endocrine glands, the first gland that we are dealing with is the pituitary gland. Alright, then the pituitary gland, where is it located? It is located in the hypophyseal fossa, and it is suspended from the floor of the third ventricle by means of a stalk which is known as the infundibulum. Alright, now here you can see this is the histology of the gland coming from the periphery towards the inside, and here you can see on the periphery covering the gland, this is the capsule which is surrounding the pituitary gland. So here you can see this is the connective tissue capsule which is surrounding the gland, and this capsule then sends in connective tissue septa within the gland. Now the gland can be subdivided into three portions. Alright, here you can see the anterior portion which is also known as the pars anterior. This is known as the pars anterior, and then the pars posterior, which is also known as the neurohypophysis. This is the pars posterior. See the difference? It consists of the neural tissue, because there is a difference in the endocrinal, the origin, there is also difference in the development of these two parts of the gland, right? This is developing from the neuroendocrine, right? The pars posterior develops from the neuroectoderm, whereas the pars anterior develops from the ectoderm. And embedded between the pars anterior and pars posterior, here you can see the pars intermedia, alright, which consists of collections of follicles. Only one or few, just a few follicles would be seen in the region of the pars intermedia. So the pars anterior and the pars intermedia together comprise the adenohypophysis. So the adenohypophysis is made up of pars anterior, this is the portion of the pars anterior, and the pars intermedia. And here you can see the distinction in the two tissues between the adenohypophysis and the neurohypophysis, right? Look at the difference in the tissue. Alright. Now coming to the pars anterior. What is the pars anterior made up of? It's made up of clumps or clusters of cells. Consists of cords or clusters of cells, and these cells are separated by means of a rich capillary or a sinusoidal network. Alright. Basically speaking, these cell clusters are made up of two types of cells according to their staining characteristic. Alright. The chromophores and the chromophils. So it's very easy to remember. If you remember, chromophils are the stain loving cells, whereas the chromophores have phobia from the stain, so they don't take up the stain. Alright. So this is the high part picture of the pars anterior, and here you can see cells consisting of different staining characteristics. So as we said, we can demarcate the cells into two groups according to their staining characteristics, the chromophils and the chromophores. The chromophils take up the stain, alright. So there are two types, the acidophils, also known as the alpha cells, and the basophils or the beta cells. So here you can see on the pointer, you can see this is an acidophil, right? Now appreciate the cell. It is a polyhedral shaped cell. Look at the cytoplasmic stain. It consists of intensely acidophilic stain. So it's dark pink in color with a round oval nucleus. And these acidophils constitute the major population. Strictly speaking, acidophils can be further subdivided or classified into two groups of cells. They are the somatotrophs and the mammotrophs. So the somatotrophs constitute around 70% of the entire cell population of the adenohypophysis. So maximum you can see the somatotrophs. And what do they produce? The somatotrophs, they produce the growth hormone, right? Growth hormones. And the next group of acidophils are the mammotrophs, which are responsible for the production of the hormone prolactin, which is secreted, or which activity mainly takes place for the development of the glandular tissue of the breast during pregnancy and the initial stages of lactation in the female. So acidophils are of two types, the somatotrophs and the mammotrophs. So here you can see, pointing at the pointer, at the tip of the pointer, we can see that is an acidophil. Now look for a basophil. Scan for a basophil. This is a basophil, but the granules are not so well seen. Now look at the cytoplasm of this cell. Alright. The cytoplasm is basophilic. It's not so intensely acidophilic like the previous cell. Alright. It consists of granules in its cytoplasm which take up the basophilic stain. Alright. And there are different types of basophils, namely the adrenocorticotrophs, the gonadotrophs, then you have the thyrotrophs. Okay, these are the types of the three types of basophils. The adrenocorticotrophs, they are basically responsible for the production of hormone ACTH, which is produced in the adrenal parts of the adrenal gland. Alright, and the thyrotrophs are responsible for the production of the hormone which is thyroxine from the thyroid gland. And the third type are the gonadotrophs, which are responsible for the production of two hormones, namely the follicle stimulating or the FSH and the